Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Charles Owen from Paladin Data Corporation. Thank you for attending today. Appreciate your time. I know that your time is valuable, especially during these crazy times, and appreciate that you're going to be here. So we've got a lot to cover today. We're going to talk about what we're doing is welcoming all the House-Hasson dealers and or employees that wish to attend. You're fully invited here. I'm glad you came. We're going to, since we can't be in person at a trade show, what we're doing here is we're doing a virtual user meeting. So we're going to cover some of the same material that we cover when we're at when we're visiting with you at the dealer markets. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you have any customer interruptions, feel free. Customers come first. Go help them. You can watch this later. We are recording it, and it will be available in the next 24 to 48 hours on our website at paladin.com. You can go to the help portal under websites, or you can go directly to portal.paladinpos.com/webinars, which I will mention and put in writing at the end of this presentation. So again, thank you all. It's a great day here in Central Oregon. We're getting ready to get dumped on with a ton of snow over the next few days, but it's exciting for all the skiers. Hope it's nice in your neck of the woods. There's been a lot of interesting things happen in 2020. It was an interesting year, and now we're jumping into 21. What we're going to be talking about primarily is focusing on some of the new features that we put in Paladin, some that are specific to House and some that are just across the board to all of our customers. We've added a boatload of features as we do every year. This year is no exception. We've got a lot of new tools to help you with making buying decisions, with ordering, with receiving, other integrations that we're doing as well. We've actually made an improvement to the help request portal as well, so we can consolidate your requests for help. And when you use the help request portal, which we really recommend highly to use because you're going to get the best response from that, it takes all kinds of information from your system and passes it over to us. We don't have to ask you questions of what version you're on, what operating system you're on, what your hardware consists of. We're going to have that information because it comes down when you send in a help request. So that information helps us with helping you. So we'll talk about that more in detail. Some of the expanded mobile device supports and mobile apps that we have, we'll go over that. And then my favorite section, the new point-of-sale features that we'll cover as well. If you have any questions during this presentation, feel free to write your questions in the little question box on your screen. We will address those mostly at the end, unless there's something relevant that pops in there that I want to mention. Otherwise, I will hold them to the end. So just real quickly, if one or two of you out there could just raise your hand real quick to let me know that you can see my screen and hear me, and I have my camera on as well, so you should be able to see me too. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You can put your hand down. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. See a bunch of hands going up. Thank you for that. So let's go ahead and get started. So the new help request portal, let's talk about that. So if you haven't used this yet as a customer, when you have the Paladin application open, you can go to the help menu at the very, very top of the screen. Under that, there's a support dropdown. In that support dropdown, you're going to see a couple of things that are new. Chat support. Hopefully you see this now. This has been in the system for a while, but we've slowly been rolling it out to all the stores. But everybody should have it now. You should be able to do chat support, get immediate help for quick answers to simple questions, right? You don't want to call us on chat, hey, my store's down, or hey, I can't use this terminal, or my device is on the blink, whatever. These are just simple questions, little how-tos, things like that. It is a very effective way to communicate with us, and it's pretty quick too. We have people standing by waiting for their screen to pop up. All right, you can also view all the active requests. You cannot view any closed requests or closed cases. If you need that information, you can contact customer support. When you click on help request to submit a help request, it's going to pop up and ask you a question, it's going to, oh, this is chat support that we're looking at right here. So this is what chat looks like. If you go into chat support, it's available 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. You just type in your text and you hit send, and you'll get a response, and we can start a dialogue that way. To submit a help request, it is going to pop up another box here, and the box that says, tell us how we can help you. It's going to want you to categorize the subject. This helps us look for patterns that are happening with our customers. So if we discover that 3 or 4 of the same problem is happening with multiple customers, then we know we need to solve that because it's affecting just more than one person. And we like to catch these things early on. So by submitting this information, it's going to help us pinpoint that. Then you'll enter a subject matter, then a detailed description, and then all you have to do is put in a phone number and an email and press submit. And that will immediately go to Paladin. And then what you'll receive is you'll get a little email here that says, hey, we've received your request for help. Paladin Support Specialist will follow up with you using an email or a phone number you provided. So there you go. So a very streamlined way to communicate. Can you call us? Yes, you can still call us. However, even if you call us, we will get with you to log into your screen and submit the help request through your system so that, again, we can collect all the valuable information we need to process that help request. All right, next. So this just kind of gives you, why did we do this, right? We did this to provide better experience for you, something that will enable us to respond more effectively and efficiently to your needs. And it's fully integrated to the Paladin CRM system that we use to track our customers, and categorizes this to direct your request to the most knowledgeable support team, right? Based on the subject matter, we're gonna transition you to the right person to talk to. And based on the information that we're collecting, we're able to optimize how we support you. So we're always striving for better support. We do have the Net Promoter Score, which each one of you have filled out one time or another every couple of months after we close a case with you. We'll send you a little email that has one question: how do you like us today, right? And we monitor those, and we pay very close attention to that. Matter of fact, as most of you know, or some of you know, we have monitors all around our room that show how we're performing with our customers, because that's what it's all about. Our success is based on your success and measured by your success. Let's talk about the new integrations. So Fastbound is an incredible product, and it really ties together the Paladin system with the bound book, right? With things like all the acquisition and disposition is done on firearms, that 4473 form, the electronic form and or hard copy form that needs to be filled out, the bound book, all of that's done by using this product and Paladin. So Paladin integrates with Fastbound. If you sell any level of firearms and you want extra added protection and a guaranteed compliance, and make sure that we manage everything that needs to be managed with firearms so that you do not get hit in an audit or anything, you definitely want to investigate this. Now, Paladin has some of this feature where we manage the serialization, but this takes it a step further. We collect more information, we pass that information to Fastbound, and all the information is uploaded from Paladin and maintained in Fastbound, which is a cloud-based system for firearms compliance. It is a tremendous product, and I encourage all of you that are selling firearms to look into that. We've also added another integration to another QuickBooks product called the QuickBooks Online. This is a cloud-based QuickBooks product, so this is different than the Enterprise. The Enterprise product we do have integration with using a third-party tool called Syntegration, but QuickBooks Online enables us to write directly to their stable API, and it is something that has been used and enjoyed by several customers. So what this does is it sends up the nightly information, right? The general ledger roll-up information that we all know sends up. And then in addition to that, it also, as you close purchase orders in Paladin, you have a choice of those going over as a payable event in QuickBooks Online. That is those are the two most recent integrations we have in addition to Fastbound. Expanded mobile device support in apps. So most of you have already seen this and you've been exposed to this, the Touch Dynamic Quest tablet. This product is a Paladin full-on license, right? It can take the place of a PC. It can take the place of checkout. It can take the place of managing your inventory. It does everything that a Paladin terminal will do. It gives you the same permissions and everything. There are a couple of caveats with this, right? It does also have an EMV chip and a swiper on it. It does barcode scanning as well. You can, capture signature, all of that. But as it relates to credit cards, there is no PIN pad. So if it's a chip card or a swipe card that needs a PIN pad, just be advised you have to do that at a regular terminal. You cannot process those payments because there's no device on here, no encrypting, tokenization kind of PIN pad to do that on, right? But it allows you to do every other feature, and it connects to your store's database. So it has to be physically in your store or on your Wi-Fi network somehow, somewhere. This is not the device that you load up and you drive across town and you still work on the system, or you go home, you still work on the system. That is not what this is intended for. This is intended to give you a mobile Paladin station that you can take anywhere in the store with you, but not outside unless you have good Wi-Fi connectivity. For curbside, it's just not going to work because it has to be connected to the database. However, the Samsung Galaxy Tab Active 2, which runs our mobile to checkout device, can run anywhere, anytime, anywhere in the world, as long as you have mobile connectivity. And it also takes credit cards, but the credit card is not an EMV. It is a chip reader or a swiper, but it will also enable you to take credit card transactions or checks or cash. You can even put it on things on account. You can respect their pricing plans and things like that. We'll get into the specifics, but this particular device is one that is intended to take out of your store and go anywhere. And it does just one function, as opposed to the tablet does all functions. The Samsung or the Quest tablet, the Samsung Galaxy tablet is very specific to check out, right? It just does checking out, right? So it offers you a way to extend that checkout process to anywhere. You can load up the back of your truck, haul it off to a flea market or a swap meet, and sell right out of the back of your truck as you sell from your store. So here's what some of the functionalities that it offers. We've added a few new features. One is we're able to not only store quotes using the system, and it will store it in Paladin at the store. We can also recall any stored quotes that are in the system and sell them to them. So you could actually put together a bid, save it as a quote, drive out to wherever your customer is, and have them sign and pay for it right there. You can put items on account as well. And in addition to that, it will respect pricing plans and trade discounts. Do note, loyalty program sales are not respected on this because that is a whole different aspect of discounting. But pricing plans, trade discounts are easily controlled on this device. Now, if you wanted to do a loyalty program, you could add the transaction in here, store it, go into the store, and there it will respect those loyalty program sales and discounts. All right. We also introduced this year the Lane 7000 and Lane 8000 payment terminals. Gives you a little bit more availability to touchless transactions, right? We turned off the signature by choice. You can turn that off or not turn it off. And it has a built-in PIN pad as well as a swipe and a dip and a near-field communication. It does everything you need to do to spend less time touching the device. So it does provide touchless as well, and pin pad. Now, another device that replaced a smaller unit that we had. Now, this device and the other Verifone that we had, or maybe we had a Motorola. I forget. Anyway, this is the new device. It's taking over. Oh, it took over for the Verifone VX805, so it was a Verifone. I need to read the slides here. And this is a little bit different. It doesn't really have to be tied down. It's more flexible, more durable, but it doesn't have a touch screen or a signature capture on the screen. So if you use this device, if you don't want to collect signatures, that's fine. But if you do want to collect signatures, you'll need a separate signature capture device, which several of our customers still have from our previous credit card processor. So that could work. This does do EMV, and it does everything that a regular that the Lane 7000 and 8000 does, except it does not do signature capture, right? And it's a little less money, but again, you're paying for a signature capture device on top of that, so it comes out to kind of net. So some of the new features. So this is kind of where I can share with you now all the different features in the system that we have added recently. So this is the 1,000 board foot, 1,000 square foot, and ton pricing. So we've had this in the system for quite some time, where you can receive products by MBF, MSF, and tonnage. But now we've added the capability to be able to sell by 1,000 board foot, 1,000 square foot, or tonnage. So you can see here in the very top screen on the left-hand side, it shows the inventory. There's two buttons there. One is the cost. You must first set the cost to 1,000 board foot. That is the receiving cost. You'll do by 1,000 board foot. But if you want to extend that out to the selling side, then you would click the little button below that says MBF with a checkbox. And now, not only do you use the 1,000 board foot numbers to calculate out the stick price, but you can do that not only on the receiving side, but on the selling side as well. But it will show you down below here, you can see it shows the invoice quantity, and then it shows the each price. It's right there below the board foot price. All right, next we have the square footage calculator. So we've always had the footage calculator, right? Control K, or you go into edit above and hit footage calculator. But now we've extended this to square footage calculator. So we're able to not only calculate out and tally up footage, but also square footage. So here you'll see in the top, you just right click or do Control S, and it'll pop up with a window. You tell how many pieces you have, what the width is and what the length is, and then it tallies all that up for you and gives you a total down below in a note field that says, hey, I got 20 at 1.8 and by 2 at 6'10", and or I'm sorry, 20 at 1 foot 8 inches and 2 feet 6 inches. That's interesting. And then the second one at 10 at 1 foot by a length of 2 feet. And it just does everything for you. So it's a cool feature. If you use square footage calculator, that's going to come in handy. Another thing that we added, we've had the request for from a lot of customers that wanted to actually number their quotes. So rather than when a contractor come in and he goes, I have quote, or quote name such and such, Mary Smith, they can just come in and say, I got a quote, it's number 6 is the quote number. So that information is stored within the invoice. It's on the top line of the invoice. You can see on the top left-hand box up here. And on the receipt, it also shows on the very top line what the quote is. This is for when you're printing quotes, right? And then down below, it also puts that information in the memo. When you store the quote, it will store that number as well. So it's a cool feature. If you want to turn this on, it's real simple. You just go into File, Setup, invoice store tab and select enable quote numbers, and it will start at number 1 and move up from there sequentially. Apply freight costs to EDI invoice items. So we've had the capability to put freight cost on manually received purchase orders. The challenge with EDI is EDI, electronic data interchange, that where we have a connectivity to the supplier for sending and receiving of orders and invoices. It's always been a challenge because the freight costs are not included in that electronic file. So they have to be added manually after the fact, and now we give you that capability to do that. If you add freight, it's indicated as a little green checkbox. If you don't, it just has a red X next to it, and that's how it works. All right, so apply freight cost to EDI invoice items. So this is what happens. When you do want to add freight, it asks you, do you want to distribute the freight cost by weight or cost? Typically, cost just makes sense. And what you do is you put the freight cost in, hit OK, and what this does is it basically changes your cost of goods sold and increases it by that amount and spreads it, across all those items based on cost. Now, it's best practice to apply the freight cost soon after the EDI is invoiced, just to make sure it's more accurate. Okay, so we've also had the capability. Now, we've always had the emailing of invoices and emailing of statements. In this case, we now let you put a custom message in the body of the email that automatically gets sent out, which is the invoice attachment. You notice up above here, the attachment on the email says invoice 18957.pdf. That is the invoice and the invoice number. And then down below is their local or is their text that they added to this. And to do this, you just go to File Setup, Forms tab, Email Message Box, and that will be done. So you can do that. I would encourage everybody to do that if you're doing invoices and sending them via email. Create a new purchase order for back-ordered items. So now this is pretty slick. So when you do a back order, you've got maybe few items left that were not fulfilled. Now you could just close that out and be done with it, and then the next time you run suggested ordering or next time you order, you'll catch those items, put them in the order, and that's great. Or forget all that and just say, let me run these up the flagpole and send them in again. You just hit revise PO, and what that's going to do is going to create a new purchase order with all those back ordered items, and then you can elect to either send them to the same supplier or a different supplier. And what it does here is it just says revise PO. In this case, it's PO number 142. It says the original date and shows you exactly what it does, what it did. And then you can recall that, bring it up, and make your minor changes, add more products to it, change the supplier, do whatever you need to it. Next, now we've in the invoice and quote, if you right click, you get a drop down of a lot of different features. One of those features is adding precision, right? Now, we've had that request for doing this on the receiving side. So now when you create a purchase order, you can extend the quantity by 4 decimal points and extend the cost by 6 decimal points. So those of you that are just buying a lot of stuff, like tons and tons and tons, and a hundredth of a cent, a 10,000th of a cent makes a difference, you can make now put those in Paladin. Just right click on your item, select add precision, and put the relative quantity and cost in there. Schedule reports for a weekday only. So when you generate reports and you do a preset report, before if you said daily, it would do every day, including Saturday and Sunday. Now we have a capability of just saying, you know what, do daily, but exclude the weekends. That was a request that we had, and we put it in the system for you. So if you need to use that, there it is. And that's for creating preset reports. Preset reports can run at any time automatically, and then you just go and you recall the reports, and there they are. You should have at least 2 running all the time. One is inventory valuation summary, and the other one is account summary, accounts receivable summary, because those are 2 reports that are done snapshots in time. And oftentimes you want those reports at the end of the month, and if you forget to run them, and you'll have to call us. So it's usually set up in the system, but preset reports are really nice because it can just automatically run the reports, and they're there for you whenever you want to recall them, print them, do whatever with. If you can also have preset reports that you don't set up on a time clock. They can just be under function key. Go in, press F1, boom, you got your daily report. All right, next, Excel version of the credit card deposit report. So if you, a lot of people want to reconcile, which we recommend, very highly recommend reconciling your credit card transactions with your payment processor on their portal website. And if you wanted to get this information in a format that you can alter versus a PDF, which you can't alter, this gives you that capability. If you go into report settings under credit card deposit, you'll see there is an export to Excel. And when you do that, it will generate it, put it to Excel. Now you can sort it, total it, do whatever you need with it now that it is in an Excel workbook. The Excel transaction report that we added in the not too distant past, this is something that before you could not hand to a customer, right? It had too much information, it cost information, you know, a lot of the accounting department stuff that, you know, wants to see cost and profit margin, that sort of thing was in there, so you couldn't share it. Now we have it where you can share the Excel transaction report because we give you an opportunity to select either the customer friendly, meaning not giving them, you know, the information that you don't want them to have, versus accounting department. So that has been added to the system. This report, as you probably know if you've run it, is limited to 31 days because there is a lot of information. And it's really important to not blow up the system or blow up your Excel by, you know, having 10,000 pages of data. It becomes useless at that point. So we just give you a 31-day max for running this report, which can be any time in the past. All right, so automatically exclude special orders from rewards. So it has been requested that, hey, I'm doing a special order. They're usually pretty expensive. I don't want to give credit for this or points for this, so that you know, if they have a $2,000 you know, custom marble countertop in this particular example, you know, you don't want them to get a, you know, $400 coupon, right? So you can turn all of your special order items to not apply a rewards points. So you do that at so you create a new no rewards class, and you set the default class for special order items to that class. Right, and that's in the company tab. EMV stores. So those of you that have moved from an Ingenico ISC 250 or 350 or 480, and you move to the lane 7000 or lane 8000, you know, storing credit cards used to, you know, in the 250 was great. You just go to store credit card. If you have a credit card in hand, you swipe it, boom, goes in, and it adds that information automatically, or it adds the token. Actually, it's not adding the actual credit card number because we don't store any toxic data. However, when the lane 7000s were introduced, that feature was not there, so we had to program it in. And it comes when you go to store a credit card under the customer module, under the electronic tab, it's going to automatically say manual entry and have that box checked. However, if you happen to have a card in hand and you want to swipe it instead, you can just uncheck that box, and then it will prompt you to swipe the card. And then you can collect the information without having to key it in. Either way, it's keyed in or swiped on that box, because that separate, or that credit card terminal, is where it does all the tokenization and encrypting. All right, here's another new feature, new item fee details report. So we're all familiar with core charge, right? Core charge is in Paladin. Now you can change the name to whatever you want, and you can get a list of those based on the class, I believe it is. So the existing feature lets you set a fee on an inventory item that will be included at checkout, right? So if it's a paint fee or a recycle fee or a return battery fee or something like that, you can do that today. But now it lets you change that core charge. Well, it has in the past as well, let you change that core charge, but the fee name can be customized. And in our example, you see here, we used required fee. To turn this on, you go to File Setup, Invoice Store tab, use the alternative core charge identifier. And that will show it on the invoice, as you see here on the top screen, and the bottom screen you see we're tying this to a class, garden chemicals. So you can set up a required fee for different classes, and what you're going to get is a report. And your report, you go to sales analysis, what I need to know, required fees, details. Now it says required fees details, but if you had core charge, it would say core charge details. So it takes whatever you put in that custom field and creates that as your report. And then when you run the report, it goes ahead and sure enough, it breaks those down into different classes. So you can set up different classes for different charges, add-on fees and that sort of thing. So here we can see that the summary of fees collected by class and then collected fees by transaction within a class. So all that information is on this report, summary as well as detail. Now, this was added very recently. We've had a lot of requests for people calling in saying, hey, my admin access or my admin password expired. Every 90 days, it has to expire, right? And we have to add a new one. Well, if you're not there to add it after 90 days, you're going to have to call us. So a lot of frustration on the customer side, our customers calling us, asking for a new admin access code, and then us having to go in and change that access code. Well, we decided, based on the feedback that we got from our customers, that we can eliminate that admin password code, right? What we'll do is eliminate it, and we'll just add a new permission under the employee permissions that said as admin access, and it's either on or off. It being on, you will be able to get into networking tab, the credit card tab, the more sensitive tabs within this section of the back office functions. So you can see here that we just automatically. So if somebody has admin access today, we're just taking out the passwords. They no longer do they need to have a password to get into that. Unless, however, they're doing a void of a transaction. If you're doing a void, it will ask you for your login password. Itemized taxes on receipts. So we were having an issue with, there's so many different tax municipalities and taxation codes and percentages and so many oddballs out there that we were running into issues where we rounded up taxing. It could, in some cases, very rare, but in some cases, there could be a 1 cent difference. So what we've done here is we've resolved that issue. That is no longer going to happen. But if you happen to display your taxation, right, if you display the different tax municipalities on your receipt, there's an option to turn this on. It comes standard off, so we just say tax, and it would just have the total amount, right? But if you break it down by individual tax municipalities, it's going to extend that out by 6 decimal places to resolve the issue of people looking and seeing, that it might be 1 cent off. This is very typical for the state of California. If you sell lumber, you have to do this. It is required. There is a 1% lumber fee. Last I heard, it was 1%. Who knows? Could have gone up since then. But that had to have been broken out on your receipt. There might be other states that have similar requirements. If not, you won't even see this. But if so, you will see now that the decimal point does go out much further, so we can incorporate all the totals to give the accurate numbers. So that concludes this particular portion of the virtual user group meeting. We've got some more. We've got questions I will answer here. We have more information. You can read about the release if you go into Paladin portal at portal.paladinpos.com/new-features/. summer-2020. It'll go directly to it, or you can just search for summer 2020 and it will probably pull it up. So we'll do a couple of questions now. I see one question here says, are there plans to upgrade integration with Sage as well as the QuickBooks stuff? Integration, we do have integration with Sage. That I did show a slide on Sage 50 Cloud. That is one of the many products that Sage offers on the GL side. It is a cloud-based option, just like the QuickBooks Online is, and we do support 100% integration with the Sage 50 Cloud product. There are other Sage products that we will review. If it's something that somebody wants to upgrade to a different version of Sage, that would require another integration, but we're experts at that, considering we have over 100 integrations right now. It's very doable stuff. So I would say yes, absolutely. And thank you for asking the question. I don't see any other relevant questions because most of the other ones I've already answered. So in summarizing this, so we've gone through this in about 36 minutes. So it was a lot to cover in that amount of time. Again, I just greatly appreciate your time. If you missed any portion of this, you may see this posted on our website under portal.paladinpos.com/webinars. In the next 24 to 48 hours, you'll see this presentation. So you can always go through it again, share it with your friends, neighbors, co-workers, staff, whatever. And there's other information and resources that you see on this list as well at paladinpointsale.com. There's a little website at the top right-hand corner. There's 4 different websites. One is Retail Science, which we syndicate a lot of different information to different magazines out there and articles and things, and online sources as well. And it just has all kinds of information about how you can run your store better, some of the tips and tricks and that sort of thing. And then, of course, you always have access to the help portal and access to Paladin. And our number is not on here, but it's 1-800-PALADIN, PALADIN. Anyway, I'm just kind of stalling to see if there are any more questions. I don't see any more at this time. So what we're going to do is, again, thank all the House-Hasson attendees. Thank you if you're a dealer, if you're a prospect, if you're an employee of House. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate the relationship and the partnership that we have with you. And we'll continue to do things to improve our product, to give you tools to make you more successful. It's all about turning your data into useful information and making it work for you. And we do that through Paladin. So again, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. I just looked outside and it is not snowing yet, but it is looking awful threatening. So looks like we're in for a downpour here. But again, thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.